Nick, what are the Leafs going to do? Is the Rantanen thing viable?
Nobody knows until Tom Dundon decides what to do with him, right? And now clearly the ball is in Tom Dundon's court here. Keep him or put him up for auction.
Well, that's going to be that's a scary situation.
I mean, they're not going to get a comparable amount of equity that they got when they traded. They're not.
But it'll be better than zero.
Nothing.
July 1st.
How do you make that deal and not know that you can get him signed? I know the guy's a genius in Carolina. He's got I've got 3 degrees and he's got to have at least 6. And I know he's one of the most brilliant people in the world, but would he not have thought about, I got to get this guy signed, and Colorado couldn't sign him all year?
Or just being comfortable that you're not going to be able to sign him.
How can you be comfortable with that with the price you paid?
If you're all in, you're all in, and then it doesn't matter if he resigns. But to sit here and go, oh, now we got to react, that just puts yourself into a terrible situation.
Well, don't you think they would have learned the lesson last year?
No, they need a second lesson.
Yeah, and they're going to get and if the goaltending's as good as it's been the last 3 years, they're going to get a 3rd and 4th lesson. Because they haven't got a goalie yet that can win in the playoffs that I've seen. I hope I'm wrong on that, because I'd like to see Rod have a playoff run here. But, the goaltending's been a massive issue for the last umpteen years, So
will Rantanen, I was just going to say, will Rantanen be the one that unplugs the whole market? Are teams waiting for that to happen, Kipper?
I think there'd be a lot of teams interested in him for sure. And John, you mentioned the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think the attraction. See, why I think the offer, if he puts them up, can be better than usual, is because of the cap hit that he's looking at. Teams are looking at right now, which is 4.6 because of Chicago's 50% retention.
Right.
Carolina goes another 50%. It's 2.3 million, and you only need probably about $200,000 or $300,000 of cap space between Friday and the end of the season. Roughly 40 days to fit that money in. Everybody can do it. It's a minor tweak. Everybody can fit his cap number in, which is almost as big of a challenge as coming up with the right assets to satisfy Carolina. So I think there's going to be value out there for him if he puts them up in the open market.
Okay, just one question. And I agree with what you're saying 100% and what everybody's saying. My one question is, when do Carolina have to win in the playoffs? When is it that they are, Rod Brindamore wants to advance in the playoffs and have a chance to win the Stanley Cup? That's why the trade was made, was it not?
Sure.
Well, no, yeah, and the trade was that they were going to get him signed, and he's going to be around for the next 7 years.
Now their biggest acquisition to help them win a Stanley Cup is now going to be put on the block.
What does Rantanen think of all of this? He's sitting there going...
He's still mad at Chris McFarland. He can't think of anything else other than Chris McFarland. That's all he can think about. I had a dream about Chris McFarland last night. I mean, I'm losing my marbles.
We don't want to know.
No. Nobody follow up that. Nobody.
But if you're Brad Treliving, do you in talking to Eric Tulsky, do you want the ability to talk to Rantanen's agent too?
Yes.
So
let me ask you something.
Sure, they're going to.
If you're Brad Treliving, at this point, should you have a very good idea if you're going to lose Mitch Martin or not? I think he should.
I would hope so.
So Rantanen is my replacement. So why wouldn't you try to talk to him and figure out.
Well, no, but maybe he knows that he can sign Marner. Nick.
What's that?
Maybe he knows he can sign Marner. So then he does. Are you suggesting then he doesn't need Rantanen?
I'm suggesting that Rantanen would be a great insurance policy in the event Marner walks.
Remember, somebody else is coming off the books in Toronto.
So to your point, if Tavares' 11 completely disappears, maybe you have a chance of keeping Rantanen and Marner.
That's my point.
Yeah, and that should be the plan. That should be the plan.